The video you're about to see is about the location testing that took place in Tokyo, Japan. Some information will not get touched on because of the simple fact that there was not enough time to play the game. If your character or the information you're looking for was not included, one of the reasons will be because there was just not enough time. Second reason could be because it's just confidential at the moment. So please be patient and enjoy the video. Thank you.
Video that I'm going to put out here. This is mainly intended for the whole DOA community, especially some of the vocal people on DOACentral. I'm trying to give you guys as much information as I can all in one go. Nothing special, nothing fancy, just kind of giving you guys information on what I experienced during Japan and the Tokyo trip for DOA Dimensions. There will be a lot of cutting in and out throughout the video because I just want to go from one thing to the next thing without having to stop. I've contacted some of the other players just to make sure that we both have some of the same information correct and, you know, to the best of our knowledge. Not everything is going to be 100%. The game could change, and we did hear the developers say that some tweaks were going to be made. Nothing major from what we were told, so some things that we do say might just end up in the game. If for some reason I don't mention certain characters, certain moves, acknowledging that, you know, certain things are still in the game, it's just safe to assume that at least the move is still in there. The properties possibly could have changed, but most likely didn't. If I don't touch on it, it's probably because nothing got changed. I'm only touching on things that were new, that popped out to us, and things that you guys might want to know exactly. Some of this you may have already read, but this is mainly for everybody that doesn't want to go through several pages of different things talking about the game itself, but making sure that you just kind of have it an all-in-one, one-stop shop. So here we go. First off, I'm going to start off with some of the characters that we touched, some of the things that went on. So starting off first is Kasumi. She has a down kick to mid kick follow-up that looks similar to her down forward free plus kick. It's an actual string, so whatever you saw in the trailers previously, it is actually in the game. It doesn't seem to launch normally. You know, I think it would have to be they're in a stun first. She has two high-looking attacks that look like Hayate's back kick. We're not sure if that's what the actual animation is, but it looks similar to that, and they could be mid, but they're both in the game, and it looks like a double launch. The first one stuns, and then the second one launches, similar to Hayabusa's forward kick. Kasumi's forward throw is no longer the launching throw. Her new launching throw is now Corsica forward throw. We're not sure if the frames changed on that. We didn't have enough time to check it, but it's no longer done with just forward throw input. It's Corsica forward throw. Her forward throw input now is the one where she gets on top of your head and she pushes you and gets behind you, similar to like a handstand effect. She jumps over to get behind you and try to attack you. So now it's done with Corsica forward throw. Kasumi now has a new move that looks like a fireball animation. It's forward P plus K, and it looks pretty fast. It's about 15 frames. I don't think it would be any slower than that, and it does push back. We're not sure what the wall detection is on it, if it's 2, 3, 4, but it's definitely very fast, and it does push back really quick, so it could be used as a whip punisher perhaps. Her up punch combo string is no longer the same. If you do up punch now, it looks like a high level jump with a mid punch attack. Her up punch combo string doesn't seem to be in the game anymore, so up punch is now just a jumping mid punch attack. Hayabusa, he has handstand relaunches like the previous DOA games with the exception of DOA 4. So now you can do a combo and do the handstand relaunch and follow up with the animation that is in DOA 4. You can't free cancel, he doesn't stay in the handstands like he did in the previous iterations, but he can at least relaunch and follow up either with the kick or the punch. Forward kick doesn't launch as good as it used to. Sometimes it's pretty good, sometimes it's not. It looks a lot more, or the effect is a lot more similar to the tag version. So if you play DOA 4 tag with Hayabusa and you do forward kick, you'll notice that the launch is not as high as on single player mode, where you have enough height to do the punch, punch, back, punch, punch combo string. In this one, it's kind of give or take. Sometimes you do get it, sometimes you don't get it. The distance, counter hit, and all that good stuff. So it's still a good launcher, just not as good as it used to be. Shoujo Izuna is only allowed to be done during Nimpo. I'm assuming they did this to give the Nimpo stance a sense of uniqueness, being able to do moves that you regularly couldn't do in just an open stance. So for all you Shoujo Izuna people, you only can do it during Nimpo now. It's kind of a drawback because the move is slow itself, so it is what it is. Hayabusa has a fireball. Some of you guys have seen it in some of our videos and even some trailers. The fireball can only be done if it's a full charge attack, which means it takes about 60 frames over a second of time for you guys to see it. And you can avoid it by sidestepping properly or just holding it, or even if you block it, you'll still block it. It'll just be a guard break, no matter what distance it is. Ryu can go into Nimpo noticeably faster. It makes it easier for him to go into his Nimpo attacks, and he completely skips the backstep animation. making it easy for him just to go straight into squatting and making the other player think on his toes a lot faster when he goes into the Ninpo stance. The Ninpo move is now done with down P plus K. His crushing attack is now down with down 4 P plus K, how it was in the previous games, and what is now Shoho Izuna input. Hayate. He can now go into Ninpo from the punch punch kick string. Similar to Kasumi, when you do punch punch kick and go into Ninpo, he can also do it now. However, he has the option to teleport, where Kasumi does not have that option, making it even more interesting as far as how you would want to counter Hayate since he can teleport directly behind you. However, the stun from punch punch kick is so long and pushes back so much that even when he teleports behind you, sometimes the player is already stepping next to him and sometimes just in front of him. So you're not always right behind them all the time. It just depends on the situation and where you're located. Raijin has been completely taken out of the game. His new strong throw is an Akiryu. It's the animation you see under a ceiling in DOA 4, but the inputs are now like 3.1, exactly the same. It also gives you the option to do a combo instead, but at least the inputs are a lot faster and a lot easier. Brad Wong. His punch kick string from crane stance is now standing punch kick, so it no longer ends with the back turn kick. So it's just the same as standing. The back turn throw from Brad Wong is still the same. However, if you stun him and try to follow it with jabs to extend the stun is actually shortened. The stuns from jab are not the same. Brad Wong's forward throw in DOA 4 is his catch throw, and his forward throw is his punishing throw. That got swapped now. So his forward throw is his punishing throw, and his forward throw is now the catch grab. Very similar to Hayabusa. Back punch punch with Brad Wong, which is the evasive uppercut, no longer launches. It only extends the stun. So you'll probably have to figure out a different way to launch your opponent. Janli. He has a fast mid-punch attack that used to be the input for the 2-inch punch. Now it's about 15 frame move that pushes back. Janli's standing kick string, on the last hit, it stuns in a weird effect that brings them up and then drops them down and then they get back up. It's a very long stun and it seems really hard to slow escape. I think other characters have a similar stun, but it's just one of the few stuns that we haven't seen before and it does last a long time. Hitomi. Her down 4 punch doesn't charge anymore. It's just like DOA 2 and DOA 3. It instantly launches, no need to charge, and it's fast. Also, her up forward kick doesn't seem to launch anymore. It just extends the stun. So you might have to use a different launcher like down 4 punch to keep your opponent in the air. Hitomi's forward kick string can still end with the mid kick, still end with the high punch, but now she has the sweep, which is very similar to her down 3 plus K low sweep. So it'll be the low, the mid, and the high now. She also has a new combo string. Vanessa described it as punch forward, punch, which is a jab into the up punch animation into another up punch animation. So it'll be jab, up punch, and it happens pretty quick. Hitomi seems to also have a double mid kick launch. First hit stuns, second kick launches, similar to Lei Fang's forward kick in DOA 4, but it's a lot faster. I know I said that if I don't mention anything, that means it's still in the game, but since a lot of people asked about this, her punch parry is still in the game. Ayane. For the most part, she seems about the same. One of the recent trailers shows her forward kick not launching anymore, so that's the only thing that's new right now. And Vanessa said something about her string, one of her new strings seems to end with the low sweeps that you get when she's back turned that are really fast. So now she does a combo that can end with those low sweeps. Ayan seems to be pretty much the same with the exception of his forward P plus K stun. Before he used to crumple them down all the way until they fell into the floor. Now it's not like that. Crumple stuns are not in the game, so it's just a quick mid punch hit like similar to Hayabusa's chop, and that's the stun you get from forward P plus K. Bass. I went through his whole moveset and nothing seems to be changed. However, the ground game has changed a little bit, so that might grant him some ground setups. Bayman. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he has a new combo string. I can't remember. I went through his whole moveset, but we were such in a rush that I just try to go through all of them as much as possible. However, he can throw punish now, and he has several offensive holds still, and he does have the advanced parries. Christy. The only thing noticeable that we got to see was that she can do her forward punch animation and sidestep in the middle of it. Maybe making it harder for the character or the defending player to see what she's going to do. But it's an interesting sight to see because it's not normal. It looks like it does sidestep quite a bit. It's like forward punch and it does it really quick. And she can still finish the string. So if she's not interrupted during sidestep, she continues with the string. Raito. Didn't get a chance to really mess with him. But based on what one of the Team Ninja members were doing when they were playing as him, he does have a fireball. Seems about a little longer than half the time it takes Ryu to do it. So it is faster than his. But it's still kind of a long time for it to come out. But he does have one.